Hey everyone, welcome back to Alf's Mustang Garage, bringing you another video to help keep your Mustang on the road and out of the garage. Today, we're going to be doing a radiator replacement on a 67 Mustang. We have, looks to be an old original radiator. She's leaking down at the bottom, and because we're not trying to keep this car concourse and original, we're going to do an upgraded ACP 3-row aluminum radiator. And we got help to help us out. Everybody say hi to Christian. Good help is extremely hard to find, so we're very happy to have him here. So let's get started. Okay, first thing we're gonna do to get started on this is, of course, drain the radiator of the old antifreeze and coolant. A little drain valve right down there at the bottom. Go ahead and get her draining there, Christian. Most of the time you gotta like crack those loose with a pair of pliers, because they're usually not gonna be super loose where you can get in with your fingers. So okay, while that's draining, you can usually undo your hose clamp for your upper radiator hose. Let that drain pretty much all the way before we undo the lower one. These radiators are like really simple to remove, because you have like just 4 bolts in the corners, so 2 uppers and then 2 lowers down there at the bottom. So it's really not like a huge massive task to undo these. And this being a manual transmission car, there's no transmission cooler lines. So if there were, you'd be undoing the transmission cooler lines down at the bottom. So lower radiator hose is coming off. After you kind of drain it most of the way, you'll still get a little bit out, but at least you'll have kind of most of it. Just these 4 bolts here on the side. I've already got 3 of them out. This is the last one. Turning, or is it going to break on you? It's going to break. Okay, some of these bolts are old, so they're going to fight you. If it's like kind of you're cranking on it and cranking on it, it ain't coming. Your best defense with old car bolts is heat and lube. Let's get her a little warm, shall we? Okay, a little bit of heat, a little bit of spray lube. I'll see if it'll turn. Better? Better. Oh yeah. Be patient, don't just wrench on it, because you will break those bolts. That's just kind of how old cars are. Doesn't take a crazy amount of heat. Just get her warm and spray some lube on her. WD, PB Blast, Prolong, all those are pretty good stuff. Okay. Yep, that one's gonna be warm. Okay, and then yeah, like if you don't have air conditioning and you have a manual transmission, like that's it. So go ahead and lift her right on out of there. Normally it would have had a fan shroud, but it's missing. You can see the old mounting screws for it are still there, but the shroud is missing. But we're going to add a shroud because that's going to definitely help out with cooling, and you're going to be driving this car in 100-degree weather. But yeah, this one's leaking down here at the bottom seal. Yeah, looks like it's also leaking up here at the top seal as well. This is definitely going to be a very nice upgrade. Okay, so our new radiator is slightly wider. This thing is a beauty. Slightly wider than the original. So to accommodate for a little extra clearance, we have a different spacer. We have a 1.5 inch spacer instead of the factory one that we have here. And so we're going to get a little extra clearance. And so we're going to take the belt off. So we're going to loosen the upper alternator bolt and the lower alternator bolt. Alternator is going to pivot over, slip the belt off. We're going to get a new belt anyways because it's pretty old and cracked. And then it's just the 4 bolts here for the fan. 1, 2, 3, 4. Fan comes off and we'll swap the spacer. Belt is off. Got the fan off and the spacer off. So the little kit that we have here is from ACP. I'm going to list all the parts that I'm using in this upgrade in the description below. So, this 3-core max flow aluminum radiator, the shroud, and the spacer kit. I'll all have links to those in the description if you want to do this to your Mustang. So. Yeah, fan spacer kit's kind of nice. It comes with the new bolts. They're the right size with washers and the spacer. So just get that little extra clearance that we're gonna need on this. Okay, so now you got your fan back on with your new spacer. Here's our shroud. This is from ACP. It's a nice plastic unit, and it's going to fit our new replacement radiator. What we're going to do is just kind of orient that just in place first. Here's our nice new upgraded radiator. She's a beauty. We've got the ports for the automatic transmission, which we're not going to use. It's got the drain valve down there at the bottom, and we already installed our retainers for our fan shroud. So this should just slide in really nice and easy. Especially where we gave ourselves a little more clearance there. So far, this is like a really nice fit. This is actually the first time I've used one of these ACP Maxcore radiators. If you're reusing your old bolts like me, I like to use a little bit of anti-seize. And hopefully, if you're the guy taking it out next, you won't have to use heat and lube to get these suckers out. Hopefully it'll just come right out. Okay, radiator is in. It's a very nice fit. Do keep in mind that with old cars, you may have to do slight modification on the mounts, just kind of slot them with a bit. And there's not a single 2 Mustangs that are alike, especially after 50 years. You don't know if the front end is square and flat. So there may be like a little modification that you may have to do, but this is actually a pretty good fit. I had to, slightly slot out this side just to get it come down like maybe 1/4 of an inch, and then it now sits Very, very nice. So, okay, so the next part is gonna be just fitting this shroud on, which is why we put the shroud on first, and then the radiator. And it's literally just like the 4 bolts, just like the radiator. It's just 2 uppers, 2 lowers, and the shroud is like 100% like necessary. Highly recommend. You got to concentrate that airflow through the radiator, you know, especially during these hot summer months that we kind of are involved in. And this one didn't have the shroud coming in, so that's going to be a huge improvement. So shroud's on. Now we just need to get ourselves a belt, maybe an overflow tank on this thing, and we should be back in business. Don't forget, I'll have the links to these posted in the description below, so if you need the shroud or the radiator or the spacer, all the above, yeah, it's a nice fit. Should work out really good for this car. But anyways, until next time, we're here to help keep your Mustang on the road